The Pegasus project is an international investigative journalism effort to reveal spying abuses by various governments upon journalists, opposition politicians, activists, business people and others using the private NSO group's Pegasus spyware, officially marketed for surveillance of serious criminals and terrorists. In 2020, a list of over 50,000 phone numbers believed to belong to individuals identified as people of interest by clients of the Israeli cyber arms firm NSO Group was leaked to Amnesty International and Forbidden Stories, a media non-profit organization based in Paris, France. This information was passed along to 17 media organizations under the umbrella name, the Pegasus Project, over several months. Over 80 journalists from The Guardian, The Washington Post and Frontline, NAC and Le Soir, Direct 36, and OCCRP investigated the spying abuses. Forensic evidence of Pegasus spyware, a zero-click Trojan virus developed by NSO Group, was found on more than half of the phones inspected by the consortium. Leading opposition politicians, human rights activists, and journalists were on the target list. The report was published in July 2021, analyzing the practice as a threat to freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and democratic opposition. Various parties called for further investigation of the abuses and a limitation on trading such repressive malwares, among them the newsrooms involved, the Committee to Protect Journalists, the International Press Institute, Edward Snowden and others. Pegasus is spyware developed by the Israeli cyber arms firm NSO Group that can be covertly installed on mobile phones running most versions of iOS and Android. The spyware is named after the mythical winged horse Pegasus. It is a Trojan horse that can be sent, flying through the air, to infect phones. Usages of the Pegasus spyware have been monitored for years. Amnesty has argued that the digital invasion is correlated with real-life consequences for spied targets, either via psychological or physical damages. NSO states that it provides authorized governments with technology that helps them combat terror and crime, has published sections of contracts requiring customers only to use its products for criminal and national security investigations, and stated that it has an industry-leading approach to human rights. The investigation suggested that Pegasus continued to be widely used by authoritarian governments to spy on human rights activists, journalists and lawyers worldwide, although NSO claims that it is only intended for use against criminals and terrorists. While the list included the numbers of known criminals against whom Pegasus is intended to be used, the list also included the phone numbers of hundreds of business executives, religious figures, academics, NGO employees, union officials and government officials, including cabinet ministers, presidents and prime ministers, and also of close family members of one country's ruler, possibly spied on by the ruler. The Observer revealed details on the 18th of July 2021 and said that its sister daily The Guardian would report further details in the following days. The leaked list of targeted phone numbers provides an indication of being a person of interest and a first indication of possible hacking, to be confirmed via direct forensic examination of the phone. Amnesty has published Forensic Methodology Report, How to Catch NSO Group's Pegasus, citing the Citizen Lab at the University of Toronto has independently peer-reviewed a draft of the forensic methodology outlined in this report. Their review can be found here. Amnesty also published various tools or data from this investigation, including a mobile verification toolkit and a GitHub repository listing indicators of NSO Pegasus compromised devices. Some emerging unverified online services claim to be able to assess an infection by Pegasus, but their usage is discouraged as possible scams themselves. Amnesty and Forbidden Stories are receiving numerous queries for checking devices but are not able to satisfy those demands. NSO Group did not deny the presence of its spyware, responding to the report by stating they rigorously vetted its customers' human rights records before allowing them to use its spy tools, and denied false claims about its clients' activities, but said it would continue to investigate all credible claims of misuse and take appropriate action. Journalists around the world have expressed outrage at the use of anti-criminality tools against non-criminals, journalists, opposition representatives, and other civilians. Edward Snowden has called for governments to impose a global moratorium on the international spyware trade in order to avoid ubiquitous violation of privacy and associated abuses. Haaretz argued such invasive monitoring technology are the weapon of choice for autocratic governments, allowing continuous monitoring of opponents, preventing protests from beginning before they